Hi everyone, welcome to the bonus video from the Whole You a Dashboarding Immersion event that we recently had together. I'm Gail Kreitzer, creator of Dashboarding, and I am so excited to share this bonus video with all of you that's going to help you bring a specific dashboard, a specific area of your life to the next level. So dashboarding, as you already learned, is another tool that you can add to your toolkit for health and wellness. And it's all about mindful and empowering organization. The goal, which we reviewed several times, is all about helping you live with greater intention. And as you recall, the dashboarding practice begins with the creation of mental dashboards that really allow you to unpack everything that is going on in your awesome brain and make it highly visible, organized, and accessible. And it builds and ends with a daily plan that is connected to every area of your life. So that's really an overview recap of what we all, reviewed together recently. And everyone had a chance to think about and create different dashboards for the different areas of your life and mind. And today, so excited, this is going to be all about your finances dashboard. We have an expert with us. Her name is Jessica Weaver. She's a wealth advisor. She's also a dashboardian, and she's going to help you take your finances dashboard to the next level and leverage it as a tool to expand this area of your life. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jessica. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Gail. Yes, I'm a dashboard disciple. I love dashboarding. It's done amazing work for my life. So I'm really excited to be here and talk about money. My favorite topic in the world is money. So I'm a wealth advisor. I've been doing this about 10 years now. I am also a money coach, a blogger, author, and speaker. I have 2 best-selling books out. My latest one, Time to Refine, which is geared around retirement, retiring on your own terms. And my first best-selling book, Strong Woman, Stronger Assets. And I'm going to take pieces of those books and share them with you today. And we're going to start with how do we unload all that goes in with our money? Because whether we like it or not, money does affect every aspect of our life. And it's amazing that when we get our money set and a better system with our money, how much easier everything else falls into place, opportunities come about, you get more productive, more creative. And really, I think the biggest thing is, like you say, Gail, to live with intention and to have a sense of peace and calm in our life when it comes to money. I was just meeting with a woman and she said, I didn't realize how much stress not saving enough money was doing to my life until I was past that. I think that happens a lot. We kind of get stuck in that busy and broke hamster wheel where we're constantly are working to pay our bills, working to earn more money, working to pay off our debt, and we get stuck in that survival mode. And what I love about your work, Gail, is it puts a pause on that. We pick our head up and we realize what really is going on, what direction am I going in, and do I like that direction? Because sometimes we're going in a way that we didn't intend to, and we just need to figure out how do I get a better system to reroute us.
I love that, Jessica. It really is about awareness, right? If we can at least be aware, then we have a chance to make a shift.
Exactly. Yeah. Awareness is the first piece. And that goes into the first dashboard. Our first piece is current situation. So where do we stand currently? And like you do, Gail, is unpacking everything that we currently are doing with our money. What is a view that you take on money? What is a mentality with money? A mantra that you say with money? But even more importantly, what exactly is going on with your money? And Gail, a lot of the times it's kind of like stepping on the scale. We don't want to do it. We push it off as long as we can. But it really is the most important first step is to understand what's going on with my money.
And I love that analogy of the scale. That is brilliant.
Thank you. The best way to get started with this is to look at our cash flow and our net worth. So an easy thing that you can do on this first post-it is to write down our cash flow. So what income is coming in? And I focus on what is the income that actually hits your bank account. Because sometimes we look at our gross income before taxes, before any of our 401k savings or health insurance payments. And that kind of gives us a false number, because really what's the money that you're living on that's funding your day-to-day expenses. So look at what is your income that hits your bank account each month. And then what does your life cost you? Where are you spending money on? And to really just track your money. And Gail, if you'd like, I can send you one of a really easy tracking sheet that we give all of our clients to get started with.
Wonderful.
To tally up really quickly exactly where you're spending your money with your bills, your mortgage, your utilities, your food, your kids, all of that. Add it up and see what's your number. Are you positive? Do you have more income coming in than you're spending, or are you negative where you're overspending?
Love
if you
it.
have extra money, we're going to talk about what to do with that extra money. If you are in the negative, you're overspending, we need to make some intentional choices with our spending, right? And we'll go into that too. And then our net worth. So what are our assets? And our assets could be our house, bank accounts, retirement accounts, investment accounts, real estate, all of those things. What are all of your debt, mortgage, car loans, student loans, all of that? And what's the number at the end? Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's a really good snapshot to keep checking. And this would be a great new habit to do, is every month you replace that post-it and you can see the difference between the two post-its each month. And are you moving in the right direction? Mm-hmm. That's
Love
a really
that.
good report card to kind of keep you in check, keep you accountable, and also to keep, if you're working with an advisor, keep them accountable too, to work together. Okay, I'll give you one example of how important these exercises are. I had a couple come in and they had sizable assets, $1.5 million in assets, and the husband did so many analysis to see, can they retire, how much will their retirement income be, but they completely forgot about probably the most important piece of the equation, their expenses. They had no idea how much their life was costing them. And I said to them, I can't give you my opinion. I can't give you an accurate report until I know what you're spending, because that can throw everything off. And they came back to me, Gail, after going through that worksheet that I'll share with you. Mm-hmm. And they said, we had no idea we spent $80,000 on our 2 grown adult children last year.
Wow.
And it really made them take a pause. And it was awareness. They need to be aware of it, and their children needed to be aware of it. So what we did was a family meeting, get everybody involved, and we didn't cut them off cold turkey, but we talked to them about them. We educated them and really empowered them to want to fund their own life at some point and to work towards that, progress towards it.
Yes.
So that, one, their dad could retire because he was older, his health was bothering him, and he wanted to enjoy retirement. Take the pressure off of them and take the pressure off of their retirement plan, that drain on them.
I really like how you mentioned that, we talked about being aware, and you're really also highlighting one of the other key parts of dashboarding, which is it really helps you to zoom out. And when you're able to zoom out and see the bigger picture, wow, that brings it to a whole different level. And then also collaboration, because what I always tell people, dashboarding is not about what, right? You set up your dashboards, you're good to go. All right, that was easy. Everything's organized, visual. I do know what to do first, second, and third. Invariably, it involves communication and collaboration. So very well said there.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you. And it really is, the numbers don't lie. So when you have that snapshot of your cash flow, your net worth, they don't lie to you. This is just what's going on with your money. Now, as we go into the next post-it, now how do we make these changes, right? So we have our current situation. What are our goals? What are we trying to get to? Like I said before, what is the direction you want to be going in, right? So many times when we're stuck in that survival mode, we're not picking our head up. We're not looking at which direction we're going into. And you're shooting darts blindfolded. We have no idea what we're trying to hit.
Right.
And sometimes goals, as I heard one woman, Jen, she goes, how come goals are one of the hardest things to think about with our money? And I think it is because we're stuck in that day-to-day wind and grind that we really haven't thought about what do we want money to be able to do for our life.
Yes, agreed.
And a goal could be having $1 million saved up, but it's, I don't want it just to be the number goal. Also, what's the meaning behind the goal? Why would $1 million be important to you? Okay.
Hmm.
So I'll give you an example, talking about Jen when she was saying, why are goals so hard? A big reason they were hard for her was because of the underlying meaning behind them and not really wanting to address the fear behind them. And her goal was to increase her revenue, her business income, do some protection planning. She has young children and her husband isn't in great health, some estate planning, all these different pieces. And they were addressing the biggest fears. What happens if my husband, who is a breadwinner right now, who brings in most of the money to fund their life, what if something happens to him because his health wasn't great? And that was a huge fear playing on her. And when we have these fears, sometimes it is hard to look at the goals because what happens? We're not just losing the money, we're losing our husband, we're losing the dad to our children, that support, the security, the stability behind it. But it was really important for her to realize, I need to address these fears. I need to figure out these goals so I can start moving towards them so that's not a fear anymore. That I know, yes, emotionally, it will be a huge strain on us, but at least financially, we'll know we're okay for her. So
That's great.
having the goals and understanding the reasoning behind the goals is going to be really important to get your butt in gear, get you moving forward and wanting to take the right steps, the right direction. So I encourage you to write down goals that are measurable, paying off 25% of our debt, saving an extra 10,000 a year, building up to a net worth of $1 million, right? Have those goals, but maybe on the bottom of it having, what is the real reasoning behind them? Is it for your family, right? Because it's not just about having more money in the end. It's about what we can do with that money. And that's one of the biggest things that when we teach children about money, that's what we want them to know. It's not about nice things, right? It's not filling our house with nice things. Is it the memories going on a trip with our family? Is it being able to feel secure and not be stressed out about money so I can be more present with my children or with my spouse? What is the real reasoning behind it? So I think having a nice thing underneath that with your why on the goals would be really helpful.
I love this. This absolutely does tie into, again, empowerment, getting clear, and ultimately you can have goals, but they're really not going to come to life unless you're very, very clear on the why. And behind the why, or what tangles into the why, often is fear.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get clear, let's get organized, and really explore some of the emotional baggage that we need to shine some light on in order to let go of it or move through it.
Exactly. Awesome. I'm glad that is relating to your work, Gail.
Yeah.
That's my goal. And it really goes into our next poster, which would be fears or questions or concerns. And this is the first thing that we address whenever I sit down with a couple of family or a woman. Are what are our concerns? What are our fears? What are the thoughts constantly in our mind that has been stressing us out? Or sometimes, like I said before with Jen, what are the fears that are making us avoid moving forward with our money because we don't want to think about them because thinking about them is too painful to deal with them. So getting them out of our mind really helps to see, okay, is this a real fear or is this just something that I've been telling myself or somebody else has been telling me? I get that a lot too. All of a sudden people are chirping in your ears and telling you, you should be afraid of this. You should be scared of this. You should be. Is it a real fear? Or are we just trying to justify it in our minds instead of moving forward? So getting down the fears and the questions. And it also is a really good way to personalize your plan. And I'll explain this because So many times you're like, what is the one magical strategy or method to get me to retirement and through retirement? And there isn't one because everyone is motivated a different way. Everyone has a different fear. So my job when I work with people are we get out their fears and their concerns. And we basically make them a priority to take care of them first, to manage them, to neutralize them, protect against them as much as possible.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
So let's say one couple's fear could be not leaving their kids an inheritance. They really want to pass on money maybe that they received, that they inherited down to the next generation or to pay for their grandkids' college. That could be a fear for them not being able to give that to their children. Or somebody else's fear could be not having enough money to fund long-term care, a nursing home, and the fear of burdening the next generation with that cost. That's their fear. It's going to be two completely different strategies behind it. And I just had a woman, Kathy, in my office, and that was her big fear was the nursing home. Because both of her parents went into a nursing home. Her father had Alzheimer's for about 10 years, which is very expensive and very draining on the family around him. Right? Going there to see him slowly lose himself, figuring out what's the best place for him, feeling guilty about putting him in a nursing home, feeling guilty that they can't visit him enough because they're trying to work to support the nursing home. So being through that, Kathy knew that was a fear of hers, and that's her top priority to plan for. So there are different ways that we are going to work together to make sure that she's taken care of. She's not putting that burden on anybody else in her family. Mm-hmm. But without getting that fear out there, we couldn't address it. So she could just move past it, move forward because she knows it's taken care of.
Right. And so this is really also ties into prioritizing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, when you look at your goals and your fears, you can get a really good plan together, prioritizing them to move forward with them. But first thing, we have to get them out of our mind and onto paper. And then, like you said, collaborate with them.
Awesome.
Right? And again, that leads us nicely into our next post-it, which are the beliefs we need to have, right? So we have these goals. And sometimes we're not hitting those goals because of these fears we have that we might be avoiding or that we've been telling ourselves, so we can't do it. I'll never have enough money. How many times have we said that to ourselves? I'm never going to have enough money. I'm just working to pay my bills. There's nothing left over. Right? All these negative things that go in our mind. So really, to move forward, we need to have new beliefs. We need to have what I talk about in my first book, Strong Woman, Stronger Assets, is we really create a money mantra, right? Something that we can say to ourselves that empower us, like you say, Gail, that encourage us, that motivate us, and really is the new reality that we want our life to be. Instead of living in the negative or these negative beliefs that we've been telling ourselves that aren't doing us any justice, that aren't moving us forward, what are new beliefs? So I know, I'll share with you, my belief from growing up is I need to work harder, right? Coaches telling me that, teachers telling me that, parents telling me that. So when I was working, in the beginning of my career, I kept thinking, well, I need to work harder to earn more money. And I was just running myself ragged. I was just overdoing so much and I was exhausted. And as you know, as people with kids know, you're running yourself until you're exhausted and then you add in kids. It's not a good recipe. So I had to change that belief to I need to work smarter. I need to have better systems. And the first way to get better systems is to get organized, to understand all the work I am doing. What can I outsource? What can I delegate? What can I just stop doing that I don't need to do?
I think that's amazing, really helping your clients get clear on what that message they received as a child and to get them to see how it's holding them back. I will share my own message. Growing up, it was, oh, don't you worry about that money. Leave that to us. So I can see how that has played out in my own life because I really do not handle any of the finances in my household. Now, fortunately, I am married to somebody who is a rock star in that, but it still impacts me as a business person, right? An entrepreneur who, that's really not healthy to have that belief. So that's where, shifting that mantra to serve
Mhm.
you can just start to change the energy and the trajectory.
Yeah. And kind of keeping us in check when we fall back to those negative things, right? Oh no, I need to work harder. I need to work harder. I don't need to work harder. I just need to
Work
be more
smarter.
intentional. I need to be more intentional with where I
Yeah,
dedicate my time and energy. For you, it's don't worry about those things. It's like, okay, this is my business. This is my baby. It is my responsibility to make sure that it is running efficiently
exactly.
with the money. So think about, like Gail said, kind of do an audit of what are the beliefs that your parents told you about. Is it money doesn't grow on trees? That's going to be very scarcity mentality. Is it like you said, we'll take care of it. It'll all work out. What are the beliefs, and are those beliefs working for you, or are they kind of putting you on the wrong path?
Yep.
And
Love
what
it.
are new beliefs? How can what you talk about is how do we neutralize them? How can we shift them to the positive so that they're not going to work against us anymore? They're actually going to work for us.
Love it.
All right. So, what are the beliefs we need to have? And that's a good thing to also keep ourselves in check, especially if you're the type of person that is very hard on yourself, puts a lot of pressure on yourself, just like me. It's good to go back to that whenever you're feeling that way,
Mm-hmm.
too.
Wonderful.
All right. Then we go into savings. So it's really important to understand all the ways that we do save. We save into our bank accounts, we save into a 401k or a retirement plan, probably. But savings are also paying off your mortgage. Think about that. Yes, piece of that's going to pay for the interest, but a piece of that you're building equity in your house or equity in another real estate piece. I wouldn't consider paying your car off savings since that's a depreciating asset. But if you're paying off equity that is growing for you, count that as part of your savings. And it can make you feel a lot better about, okay, look at all the different ways that I am saving. And when you add them up, it can be a good number. What you also can put on the savings are maybe percentages. And Gail, I have a stable saver method where our goal is to get you saving 20% for retirement, we'll say. That's just one of our buckets in this method. But we don't start off the bat with 20%. We're not chopping off 20% of your income and saving that from day one. That would be very, very hard to do. But think about it. If we decided to do 1% the first month, you can live with that 1% of your money, probably, right? There's a way you can find 1% of your money. And then let's see, can we increase that to 2% halfway through the year? Yeah, you can live with another 1%. Very easy. And you keep doing that, and within 5-10 years, you're at that 20% with just chunking away an extra 1% each time. So it's very slow and gradual. But what makes you feel really good is from day one, you're saving money, and you're going to increase that savings each time. So not only are you saving money, you're increasing that savings every time. And it's a really great way to hold yourself accountable. Or if you're working with me or an advisor, I always kind of do the check-in and hold them accountable. Can we raise it? Because it's very easy to go on autopilot with our savings. I'm saving something, that's enough. Instead of checking, okay, can I increase this? Because when we just leave extra money in our bank account, I call them homeless dollars because they leave our home and find another home. We spend them. Every dollar that comes into your world, we need to give it a home and a place to go so that we're very intentional with how we spend our money, how we save our money, and how we pay off debt.
I love this so much, Jessica. I think it's
Oh, good.
fantastic. And I have to say, I think we need to stop right now because I'm going to go work on my finances dashboard. Okay. I'm so excited. I think these are very simple. The stories you're sharing, these analogies make a lot of sense. And so I'm excited for the dashboardians to really dig into this.
Good. Yeah, I hope this is really helpful and a good starting place for everybody. I will say it does, and just keeps building on small steps. So many
Yep.
times we want to go from A to Z, and that's my job, is to know your plan from A to Z. Your plan is to know from A to B to C to D.
Love that.
To slowly build on it, because when we try to do it all at once, and you warned me about this too, right? We want to do a whole dashboard at once.
Yes.
We want to be able to keep digesting it, getting it to work for us, understanding it, because I don't want people to go from A to Z and then the next month they're back to A.
Right. And this also ties in with what we all reviewed during the immersion is the daily plan. And when I teach people to make a plan, I talk to them about, checking your calendar first to see what's coming up, checking your email, always something lurking in your email, right? Check your social media. And then the last step is really checking to see if anything that you've written down on your plan connects with your compass, which is storing your goals, right? Your priorities. And if not, that's okay. It's just an opportunity to pause, right? And think about it. So I intentionally do not start people with, okay, before you create your plan, look at your goals, right? Because it's way too much pressure. Let's make little shifts. Let's back into this. Let's use self-compassion and start to say, there is no connection on here. I'm about to have the busiest day ever, and I don't see any of these moving this forward on my compass.
That's what we just get stuck with busy work.
Yep.
Back to that busy and broke. And yeah, we get stuck with busy work. And a big thing for me, one of the beliefs I had, we're always having to work harder. Being busy doesn't necessarily mean we're being productive.
Right.
And I think that's a big shift that you are helping all of us make is, why are we just spending our life being busy? Let's actually be productive with the hours we are dedicating to work or at home, so that we are moving forward instead of just being stuck in this phase of busy, this fog, this busyness fog. And that leads us to the last post, which is to-dos. So exactly, maybe the to-do is to create this dashboard. The to-do is to go through that expense worksheet, to think about our goals, to sit with your spouse or your kids and go through this. I just had a woman who joined our Strong Retirement Club, and she has 2 grandsons living with her. They're both special needs, and she wants to help them with their money because now they are starting to work. She wants to make sure that she gives them easy new behaviors and tasks that they can handle. And I said, this is a great way to sit down with them and go through exactly what I went through with you. Get them on the stable saver method, get them understanding their expenses, how much can they start saving, increase that a little bit each month. $25, $50 for people starting to work out will really start to add up and get them in such a healthy habit of saving. So sitting down with your kids to go through this, go through it with your spouse can be a really, really good way to come from a place of understanding. And also remember the first couple with their kids, their adult children. Going through this with your adult children is such a great way to ensure that they're not on your retirement plan, that they're not an expense draining your retirement plan, but that they are going to set themselves up to be independent financially as well. So I always encourage people to do family meetings. I know you do too.
Yeah.
Have this be a part of your family meeting. Or really, what are your to-dos? And I do have some other examples if people need other Post-its.
Yes, and I do want to just say one more thing though on this to-do Post-it. Another to-do could actually be to talk with a wealth advisor, okay? Because I think that there are some people out there that have ideas that, wow, I have to have a lot of wealth to talk to a wealth advisor. I'm not that person. So I think it would be helpful for people, you to speak to, who you work with, right? The range, and also to help, people understand what it is a wealth advisor can provide.
Yeah. You don't know until you ask and you reach out. And I would encourage everybody to don't meet with somebody who intimidates you. You want to feel comfortable asking these questions. You want to feel comfortable talking about your fears with them, because you need to open up completely for them to be able to really, really help you and dig down to what are the real fears that are kind of dictating your life right now. And you don't even realize it, that you're living according to these fears. But it is really important to go to an expert, go to a professional, somebody that you feel comfortable with. You might not trust them right away because might not have a relationship with them yet,
But interview them, right? You're
but
saying
feel
to interview them.
comfortable, feel engaged with them. And if somebody came to me with this dashboard like this, I would be so excited to work with them because one, I can tell they're committed. Two, I can tell they're willing to do the work. And that means they're going to have the results. They're going to have the best results, the success that they're after, and they're going to be engaged the entire time. You really will become an ideal client for an advisor to work with. So even if you don't have the wealth that you think you need,
Yeah.
you're going to be well on your way to getting there. And those are the best people that I like to work with, that any advisor would want to work with.
Love it. All right. All right. So what other receptacles can we create?
So some other ideas I have are, I'm all about the team. So you could have a post-it or even a whole dashboard with your team. So your team could be Gail, it could be you. It could be a financial wealth advisor, a money coach. It could be a business coach, an accountant, an estate attorney. So in our programs, everybody gets our team. So we make up our team of, we have health and fitness coaches, we have estate attorneys, divorce attorneys, accountants, QuickBooks, women organizers, you, Gail, mental organizer. So everybody has access to everyone on our team, on our lineup. And I encourage everybody to have that and have that in one place. So your spouse knows who to contact if something were to happen. Your kids know who to contact if something were to happen to you, or you and your spouse, your nieces and nephews if you don't have children. And it's a good way to stay organized for yourself too. You just go do it. Oh, this is their number. This is who I call. This is a project we're working on together, maybe. But it's really good way. I have that. We have a real estate property and we have a whole dashboard with our team, what needs to get done, because your money is a business, right? It's funding your life and we need to kind of treat it that way. And any business has a team operating it, just like your money, your life should have a team operating it as well.
I love it. I think that's really great advice because just like with your family, you have team members, your work, you have team members, and you're right to think about my money is a business and who's on that team.
Exactly. Exactly. Another thing could be things to research, things that you want to learn more about. I love when my women step up and go, I really want to know more about this. I want to get educated. And I can send them books or resources or professionals to talk to, and they could research it. They can come to one of our events to learn more about it. So something that has things to research, it could be under your to-dos as well. But people are really engaged with it. They might want to have something about, what are the areas I want to know more about? What are the areas I do not care to know more about? Another thing are important dates and ages. Now, this is really critical for retirement because there's so many different ages and dates we need to remember. A date could be something like April 15th to file taxes. S Corps need to file by March 15th. I didn't know that until my accountant just told me that. For retirement, we need to take money out of our retirement plans by age 72. They just changed that date from 70 and a half. I can't take money out of my retirement plans until 59 and a half, right? Your full retirement age for Social Security. There's so many different ages, and I think it'd be really helpful just to have all those ages. And what I'm going to encourage my Strong Retirement Club members to do is have all those ages on a post-it so that you can go to it every birthday. Oh, I need to start thinking about this, or oh, I'm fine. I don't need to think about this. So the ages and dates is really important, especially when you get towards retirement and retirement. To keep those straight, and for your family members to know too. I just started working with a widow, and her husband took care of everything. And he had about 8 different retirement plans. And he was at the stage where he had to take out his required minimum distributions, which the IRS forces us to take out some money each year once we hit 72. She had no idea which plans he took money from, which plans he didn't take money from, who to contact, what the amounts were. It was such a mess for her, and she felt so out of control, which is a scary feeling when you have money that all of a sudden you've never had to manage before, and now it's on you. So knowing, what are the ages, those things will help you or your spouse, your family members to stay on top of it too.
Excellent.
And then just one more, and these are more for the people who are very committed to saving more money. And I have a list of questions that I have some of my clients keep in their wallet or by their credit card or by their computer if they're online shoppers. So this could be a helpful one too, depending on how you are with money. But I have these 4 questions that people love. And the first one is, do I need this item? Did I need it yesterday? Will this get me closer or farther from my goals? And what else can I be doing with this money?
Mic drop. I love it.
That could be very helpful for people who need to keep their spending in check, and just a healthy reminder of going back to the goals, going back to the why. Why am I doing all this hard work? It's not just have more stuff in my house, right? It's cleaning things out, being more intentional with our money. So just some ideas
Love
to
it.
help you. And I would love to share with you, Gail, and then you can send it to everybody, that expense worksheet just to get started. Put that on your to-do, post it to get started. And thank you so
Yeah.
much, Gail. I
Yes.
have an awesome time with you. I love dashboarding. It's changed my life. And I hope everybody else enjoys. I'm sure they all will enjoy it just as much.
Well, wonderful. I am just so grateful that you spent this time with us. You added so much value, so practical, so helpful and inspiring. And I can't wait to share it with everyone. And I will absolutely include attachments so they can dig in a little deeper and they can, get the party started. So that, my dashboardians, is the conclusion of this bonus video with the amazing Jessica Weaver. So thank you all for joining us, and stay tuned for the next bonus video coming your way.